Well, women and children fleeing the conflict in Ukraine are at heightened risk of human trafficking. That's according to the United Nations. Human rights campaigners say the rapid mass displacement of people is a recipe for disaster. Our correspondent Natalie Carney is in Poland. Natalie, what are you seeing where you are?
Yes, that's absolutely right, Jamie. These alerts are coming out loud and clear, especially for those that are making the journey. Every single day, there seems to be more social media campaigns that are coming out trying to alert women and their children of the potential threats when they do cross the border. As of this morning at 7 a.m., 2,200,000 people from Ukraine had crossed onto Polish territory. Those numbers were slightly down day to day from the day before. But again, that's all due to the fighting in the country, where those pockets of fighting are and how accessible the humanitarian corridors are. But those people coming across, the predominant demographic of them are women. And this is the prime target demographic, you can say, for human traffickers. In and amongst all the chaos at these border crossings, they are preying on young women.
Tens of thousands of people pass through the Medyka border crossing between Ukraine and Poland every day. Most are welcomed by trustworthy Polish and international volunteers. However, there are those lurking with bad intentions.
We had the news about a girl, Ukrainian girl, 19 years old, that was raped by a Poland man. He invited her to be host in his house and help her through this chaotic situation. And unfortunately, it happened.
Another man was detained after he was overheard promising work and a room to a 16-year-old girl. Warnings across social media platforms caution women about potential risks. Within 24 hours of the start of the conflict, the Polish NGO Homo Faber, a human rights group, printed up flyers and set up an information line for Ukrainians fleeing to Poland.
The
last few days, there have been reports about men who are hanging around at bus stations or railway stations. They flush out the most beautiful girls and offer them a super lucrative job, often with accommodation, or just accommodation in a really nice place. All you have to do is get into the car with them.
A potentially attractive offer to those who fled Ukraine with little more than their children. At one of the main train stations close to the border, men hold up signs to cities in EU countries. Very little is known of these men, only that they have a vehicle going to a possible safe house.
Police in Romania and here in Poland say they have set up checkpoints to search suspicious cars and people at all border crossings. Even here at Krakow main train station, they've got eyes everywhere.
Around the station, more signs warn people about the threat of human traffickers. While no one CGTN spoke to had been approached, all were aware of the potential dangers.
You always feel scared, especially if you don't know where and why you're going somewhere. We were lucky we didn't experience anything bad, but we heard a lot of stories about it. That's why we asked people and volunteers whom we could trust.
Be careful and take care of yourself. Don't ask strangers, because if they offer something, especially for free, it can be really dangerous.
Neighboring countries are also raising concerns about trafficking gangs, taking advantage of vulnerable women and children fleeing Ukraine, warning new arrivals to go straight to the police if they come across someone suspicious.
Yes, and in the chaos of everybody coming and going, especially at the border crossing areas such as Przemyśl, such as Medyka, it can be really difficult to know who that trustworthy person could be or is. According to Homo Faber, they say they get upwards of 3 or 4 calls every single day from women concerned about offers that they have been presented with, and that number seems to grow every single week, she was mentioning. As well, she also said that human traffickers are always the first on the scene of any new conflict. Jamie.
Natalie, thank you very much for that. Natalie Carney, our correspondent in Poland.